At Parkland Hospital. Steve, what can you tell us from there?
Good morning. There was a massive police presence out here. In fact, we were trying to get over to the scene, but we had to bail off of I-35 just because it was an absolute parking lot. I'm sure Chip's been reporting, and your vantage point may even be better than ours at this point. Empire Central closed at the service road. Again, folks trying to get past this scene on 35. We bailed and came here to Parkland. It is the closest trauma center to this scene, and we can expect that this is where folks will be transported. You can hear probably the sirens behind me. Again, tons of police activity out here as folks race to the scene. As I'm sure Sean just reported, we're talking about 3 people shot who were in ICE custody. A male shooter on the rooftop shot himself when approached by law enforcement. As the rain continues to fall here, I can tell you that very much a fluid situation here, and very much expected that these folks would be brought here to Parkland. We can certainly keep you updated on their condition.
All right, Steve Noviello live there at Parkland. We appreciate that. We also want to check in with David Brown, former police chief in Dallas. He's on the line as well. Former Chief Brown, Sean Rabb mentioned this earlier. I don't know if when you hear this scene or if you've seen any of the coverage here, does this invoke thoughts in your mind of 7/7?
It really does, and thank you guys for having me on. Making sure you can hear me okay.
Yes, we do.
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, it really does bring back those kinds of memories, but you guys are hitting all the right points when you talk about it's just such a live situation right now. You really want to eliminate whether there's any other suspects that's part of this attack this morning on the ICE facility, harming 3 people. So that's one of the top priorities for law enforcement right now, to eliminate any possibility that there's others involved.
And I
feel like we would have heard if they thought there was a second one at this point. I mean, is it Dallas police is now moving to say, hey, we're doing a media staging area, we're going to be giving a news conference in a little bit. I would think if this was still a possible active, like maybe there was a second suspect, they wouldn't already be moving to try to get us in a spot. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that, but at the same time, this investigation is just starting. So there's a lot of work to do to figure out who this guy is, like you guys have been mentioning. Where's his vehicle? Today you got to look at people's social media once you identify who they are, to see what kinds of things have they been posting, to try to give you some clues about motive.
Are these some of the things that you can talk about or tell us that are happening behind the scenes that we don't see on screen, without discussing tactics or anything? But what can you tell us about what's happening behind the scenes right now?
Well, behind the scenes, there's a lead agency. So because it's on a federal facility, will the feds take the lead? Will Dallas County take the lead? Or will the Dallas Police Department take the lead? So that's number one, identifying who's the lead. Or it could be a collaborative where they all kind of work together, multi-jurisdictional leads. But that's number one, because then that prompts certain types of things and resources available. Of course, at some point, they'll do a presser. They'll do a press conference or a press statement to make sure the public knows. Like you mentioned, by now you would think downtown's safe or the area's safe, but you do want a statement at least at this point. So that's likely being prepared and hopefully sent out soon, so you guys can get a little bit more information. And finally, the investigation process itself. Even though the suspects apparently killed himself, you still have a full investigation to determine not just motive, but just what happened, why it happened, and what types of things this apparent suspect was planning to do. Was this targeted to these particular individuals that were harmed, or was this kind of a blanket attack? We just don't know a lot at this point, and it's just the beginning of the investigation.
I'm curious, what do you know about this immigration building? We were told the 3 that were shot were in ICE custody. Do they bring people in there that are in custody? Are they transporting there? Are they held there? Do you know anything about that?
I don't, but if people are being brought in, it's either a federal facility or a Dallas County facility that's a temporary holding for federal transport to a federal facility. So I just don't know the details, just waiting for the statement from police or law enforcement or federal law enforcement to determine all that information.
I also think it's important to point out this is what you guys train for. This is exactly, you know, and I think with every case we see nationwide, you guys tweak a little bit about your response, or, you know, now we're seeing a lot of these shooters on the roof. I'm assuming that that changes your training some.
It does. Unfortunately, this is our new normal, and it's really a sad statement to make. This is the new normal for our country, and apparently rooftop shooters are a thing. And Sean mentioned this as well. You know, you just have to really prepare for these suspects taking the high ground, which puts everyone else at a more vulnerable position, and makes what, you know, normally is, you know, ground level shooting much more complex and difficult to deal with from a law enforcement perspective.
Yeah, David, we want to kind of update people if they're just tuning in at the top of the hour here. So stay with us a second. We've got 3 people who were shot. Those people were in ICE custody. We've got a shooting detainee, or a person that was the shooter who is now dead of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. This happened from a rooftop. This person was acting in the form of a sniper shooting down at this ICE facility.